Okay, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Mr. Mayhem. Today, I'll be doing my first music-related video. I do plan on filming another one after this. If you hear any background noise, I apologise. It's my neighbour chopping wood. I don't know why. Anyway, so I'm going to be going through my metal vinyls. Now, these range from softer stuff to Infinite Annihilator, so I'm just going to get started and get going. Yeah, so first off, we have Beartooth's Aggressive, which is a gatefold. It's a lovely little album. No, it's a good album. My problem is that I don't tend to listen to full albums a lot. And you're probably not going to see a lot of recent releases because I got a record player that scratched some of my records and I'm now just scared to play them or even just buy new ones because they're so expensive. So I'm happy with what I've got. I don't have space for any more, but I might start buying more once I get my own place. But for now, this is it. I just thought I'd give you an idea of stuff. There is some albums that obviously are extremely, don't have vinyls. The vinyls are extremely rare, etc, etc. But yeah, Beartooth's Aggressive. Good albums, some banger songs. Next up is Nine Shrines. I've never actually, I think I impulse bought this. I tried listening to it a year ago or so and didn't vibe with it. Yeah, not for me. Next up, by the way, this isn't in any order. I've just got it in what I take out my shelf. Beartooth's Disease. Now, this is an album that I have listened to the whole way through, and it is a brilliant album. It's one of the heavier rock albums. I'd say it's metal, but it's one of the heavier ones. It does have a very nice orangey spotted. It's meant to be diseased vinyl because the album's called Disease, but some absolutely banger tracks in here. Whole thing is just fucking brutal shit. Not as brutal as Infinite Annihilator and stuff, but I really enjoy this album. I've listened to the whole thing. It's good. Now something softer. This was my kind of entry band along with Beartooth and that to the metal genre, and that is Shinedown with what's it called? Threat to Survival. My favourite album of theirs is either Amaryllis or Sound of Madness. But Sound of Madness got a reprint, but I've not bought it yet. But it is a lovely little gatefold. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the vinyl's just black, I think. Yeah, the vinyl's just black. But lovely little record. I think it's stop saying lovely. Good record. I like all the songs on it. Yeah, solid album. Now, this next album was a blind buy. I was in HMV and I listened to... Oh, if you notice, I'm using a different setup because sitting down in the cupboard was hurting my back, so I'm trying out something different. So if the camera shakes, it's because it's on my bed. Anyway, I was in HMV and this was a blind buy, and what I used to do is I used to listen to one song, so I'd find an album with cool art, listen to one song, and then if I liked that song, I would sometimes blind buy it. And that's what happened with this, and this was one of the good ones, and that is Bad Wolves Disobey. This album goes fucking hard. I don't like all the songs on it. I'm very picky when it comes to that. There'll be very few albums in here where I'll be like, I like all the songs on it. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I very much liked. It is a gatefold. So, and then the inside. The albums are, the vinyls are just plain for this one, but great album. I like their second album as well. I don't have it, but after Tommy Vex left, I just stopped listening to them because I liked his voice, but obviously his... Won't go into that, but, I've not really been interested in much since after that. But Not speaking of anything, next up we have Shinedown's Amaryllis. Now, I'm aware that when I got this, I think I paid like 50 quid for it because it was quite a rare vinyl. Again, these songs, this band was my gateway into like the heavier stuff. Um, and it's a lovely little album. And you stop saying fucking lovely, Jesus Christ. It's a very good album. I like all the songs in this one as well, as with Sound of Madness, but I don't have Sound of Madness. These were my gateway kind of bands to getting into the heavier stuff, that and 3 Days Grace, which I'll get to later. But I started hearing it when I worked in a kitchen, and they played this like heavier stuff, and then eventually I got heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier, and now I can listen to just noise, I'll call it. But yeah, it's funny because I never thought I'd get to the levels of like Infinite Annihilator and fuck, what's the other one again? Shit, I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah. Okay, so next up, we have I Prevail's Trauma. This is an album that it's a lovely little back. I love the colour accents on it. I believe this one's coloured. Yes, it is. Little spot glossy kind of cool thing. So, this is an album that, again, I've not listened to all the songs. I have listened to all the songs of them, but so I don't like them. There's like some bangers in here. Like the one I heard that got me into the band was Bow Down, because that shit goes hard, and that breakdown is just punchy. But over time, I've listened to a couple more. Like DOA is great. Gasoline's great. Deadweight's great as well. But it's a band that it's weird because as I've gotten attached to like certain levels of heavy, as I've gone on, like going back and listening to that stuff now, it's not as easy to get into personally. Like I didn't really like Slipknot's new album. I loved We're Not Your Kind, which I will get to because I do have that on vinyl. But yeah, some of these metalcore bands, it's just harder to get into for me now. Because I like the like rough vocals and stuff. I mean, I do like singing, but yeah. So that's I Prevail's Trauma. Not checked out the new album, but yeah. And next up was another Blind By, which I don't like, from what I remember. And that, I don't know, but that's Anthems of the Damned by Hammer Cult. Like I said, I don't know anything about this album. I just have it because I thought the cover looked fucking badass, which it is. But not much to say on this one. Got a cool dark red vinyl, but it just kind of exists in my collection. So. Next up, we have a band that I didn't know got so much hate until recently, and the singer has apparently retired. I didn't read into the story, but that's what I saw, and that is Five Finger Death Punch. This is their and Justice for None. This was the first. Again, this is one of the other bands that got me into the. Sorry, I'm stretching my back. That got me into the heavier stuff. And this was one of the first vinyls I bought. And I do really like this album. I like most of the songs on it. And again, it's a gatefold. And then you have the inside with the band and everything. And it's a lovely vinyl. I believe this is just black. Yeah. But I really like this album. I actually like quite a lot of their albums, apart from the first couple, and just not for me, but yeah. And for the longest time, I was trying to get their, Got Your Six, I believe. I was trying to get that on vinyl, but that was quite expensive, so I don't have that. But great little album. Got some banger songs on here, like Champagne, Fire in the Hole, Rock Bottom. Yeah. Some fucking bangers in here. And that's the thing I like about this band is they can do heavy and they can also do quite slow stuff like Will the Sun Ever Rise and Wrong Side of Heaven, Right Side of Hell, stuff like that. But no, solid album. Next up we have another Five Finger one, but this is a compilation which has some bangers on it. Well, like Wash It All Away, Wrong Side of Heaven, Jekyll and Hyde. yeah, and that's the a Decade of Destruction Volume 1. This is a lovely little vinyl. Got this because I couldn't find the I believe this is just black, is it? Oh no, this one's red. Oh, hang on, I can show you this one then. I got this one because it's because it had some bangers on it that I couldn't get, like Wash It All Away and Jekyll and Hyde, but looking at the back, there's not actually that many on here that I know, which is weird, but yeah. I think the last time I actually bought a vinyl, sorry, these things sometimes don't like to go in, and it's fucking annoying. This is why I was torn about actually doing this video, but what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Good little compilation. Next up is the only album I have from this band. And to be honest, I only have properly listened to 1, 2, 3 songs on this. And that is Disturbed's Immortalized. I love the cover for this. The song that got me into this was The Vengeful One, and then obviously their cover of The Sound of Silence I thought was really good. But again, it's just one of these ones where for some reason I buy vinyls for one song, and and for the longest time I justified that. But now it's like I don't have the space for it, and they're so expensive and they're so hard to keep like in good condition that I've just stopped. But yeah, Disturbed, Immortalized. Oh, now this is one of my favourite bands ever, and that is, and this vinyl was hard to get hold of, as was their other one, and that is Cane Hill's Too Far Gone. I love this band so much. I'm seeing them live in Glasgow in March, and I love this band. In lockdown, their Crew de la Mort EP that shit rips so hard. Power of the High is my favourite on that one. Kill Musical is second, and then obviously what's it called? God's the Enemy is great as well, but this is the Mosquito vinyl. This is hard to get along with the other one. It sucks that they haven't released their Crew de la Mort and Crew d'Amour. What's it called? EPs on vinyl, but I can understand because they were independent at the time, and they're obviously working on their new. They're obviously working on their new LP right now. So I do like their new single. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's a banger as well. Check out this band if you haven't. Great kind of metalcore kind of band. I still love them to this day. I have lots of their merch. Next up, this is another one of those gateway bands for me that I heard back in the kitchen. And this is what I loved for the longest time. Sorry, I just have another video running right now. And that is Breaking Benjamin. And this is Dark Before Dawn. Dark Before Dawn. My favourite album of theirs is Dear Agony, but I just cannot find that on vinyl. I don't think one exists, to be honest. And if it does, it's in very limited capacity. But this is the only one that I found this in HMV. And this is a great vinyl as well. The vinyl's just black. If I just close it up, it just means the vinyl's black and probably not worth looking at. But no, this is a great album that I really like. I like all the songs on it. Again, one of the very few albums that I like all the songs on. Like Failure's great, Breaking the Silence, Hollow, Close to Heaven, The Great Divide. Absolute banger. If you're not sure about, I don't know why you'd be watching this if you weren't, but if you're not sure about getting into metal, try Breaking Benjamin and just listen to their discography. It's a little bit of heavy, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's the same with Five Finger in that, just work your way up. Don't feel pressured to like the heavy, kind of shit. Just go at your own pace, because I remember thinking I'd never like Lorna Shore or stuff like that. And now I adore that shit, and I love slam and everything. And it's just, take your time. There's no rush. Just slowly build your way up. Maybe every now and then, you know, pop on an Infinite Annihilator or something. See if you can get into it. But if not, that's fine. And if you don't ever get into it, that's fine as well. But I don't like metal gatekeeping stuff. Like what you like. That's why like shit like this is just so good. Like it's got that, like, it's got some good heavy guitars, but it's also lots of singing. So yeah, no, great album. Next up is yes, this is another band that I said earlier. 3 Days Grace with 1X. This and Life Starts Now. I love all the songs on both these albums. Again, these were some of the like my formative like metal stuff. Like such good albums. Like I'll just go over some of my favorites. Like It's All Over is great. Never Too Late's great. Animal Pain. Just all of them are so good. Time of Dying is a personal favorite. Just fucking sick album. Really good album. And an album that I think is just as good as I said a minute ago, Life Starts Now. Just these two albums are perfect in my opinion. I wish that Adam Gontier stayed with them. I didn't really like Transit of Venus, but I wish they stayed because their newer stuff I'm just not into, and I love Adam Gontier's voice. I know he's in Saint Estonia, but I can't get into that. But these first two albums I adore, and I play them over and over again. Like World So Cold. Like there's some really good sad songs in this as well. Like, oh, brilliant, brilliant album. Okay, next up we have one of my favourite albums in recent memory. Love this band because part of the way I discovered them was through their, you know, their horror stuff that they do, which is just, in my opinion, this is better than the first, and that is Einstein Kills, The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. I adore this album to pieces. My favourite song on it is, was it Take Your Pick with fucking how the fuck did they get Corpse Grinder on an Einstein Kills song? Anyway, just an absolutely fantastic album, and obviously the horror aspect to me is just, it's brilliant. Like they're all brilliant. Like even their original Welcome to Horrorwood is so catchy. Assault and Battery's Chucky, like Rainy Day, Resident Evil, like just. But Take Your Pick is my crowning. It's just, it's so good. It's so fucking chunky and heavy, and just. I have the green one, but I actually think this may have been the last vinyl that I bought, because, and I will listen to it once, but oh, just this shit is so good. Like, madness. Absolute madness. And then we have its predecessor, which is just The Silver Scream, which came out in 2018, and this is what got me into the band. First heard these guys when I was on holiday in 2019, and I've never looked back. Like, this album is just absolutely incredible. I have the blood one there, but like this is, like, as I said, I think the second one is stronger, but like you have songs in here like The American Nightmare, Thank God It's Friday. Stabbing in the Dark is a fucking tune. That shit is so good. It Is the End, like George Slade, Grab Steak, Jig Is Up. Fucking brilliant. I'm gonna check out these two albums. They are both masterpieces. Such good shit, dude. Honestly, absolutely bloody fantastic. Excuse me. Next up, we have Slipknot's Self-Titled. This is an album that I found quite hard to get into the first time I listened to it. There's a lot of good songs in here, like Sick is great, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, Surfacing, Spit It Out. Yeah, I've just noticed that I've listened to a lot of the stuff on side A, but not side B. But no, this is a really great, well, the one half of the album I actually like is really great. Yeah, great album. I don't care what you say, Slipknot's great. I really like Slipknot. Apart from their new one, it's just not for me. And then we have the re-release of All Hope Is Gone, that came out couple of years back, I think. It's a lovely little gatefold. I believe the records are grey, yeah. I know what you're saying when you get fingerprints on it, but I don't listen to these. They're just cool to have. It also came with a CD of their live at Madison Square Garden, I believe. Yeah, great album. Some banging songs on here. Sulphur's great. Psychosocial, obviously everyone knows fucking Psychosocial. Dead Memories. Snuff. Snuff is... If you don't like metal, but like, just listen to Snuff. It's not metal. It's fucking brutal, but it's great. And then obviously All Hope Is Gone is great as well. Okay, so next up, we have another blind buy that I actually really got into later on, and that is Silent Planets, When the End Began. Also really cool braille on the back, and all their stuff's in braille on the back as well. But yeah, this is a band that I only recently started getting into, but that vinyl is just so lovely, and this album is a fucking banger. Like, and this seems to be one of their... I'm not really big into their fandom, but this seems to be one of their lesser, like, crazed over what's it called, albums. So it's my favorite. I've never listened to this, but I really like this album. There's another blind buy that went well. Next up, we have the Doom 2016 soundtrack, which I just love the art on this. I'm really annoyed that we don't seem to be getting a vinyl for the second one, but it's just a really nice matte finish, and it's just, the discs are banging as well. Hang on, I'll show you the discs. Look at that. That's lovely. And that has the runes on it as well. Such a good soundtrack. I believe it's the only video game soundtrack I actually have on vinyl, because, it's fucking awesome. I do prefer Eternal's soundtrack, but obviously you cannot get that on vinyl, and you can't actually get the proper masters for it, but, life sucks. Then we have Slipknot's Point 5, The Grey Chapter, or the one that no one likes, apparently. I think this was my first Slipknot album that I listened to. I really like this album, personally. I think it's not my favourite, but it's good. Once again, the binders are black, but like, this is an album that I think gets a bit too much hate. I mean, yes, it is very different compared to what they did before, but I quite like it. You got some bangers on here, actually. I need to start naming some bangers on these, I'm sorry. Let's do The Devil and I. AOV is a slapper. Custer's great. Yeah. Good album. Not their best, but and then their second most recent, We Are Not Your Kind, or Wank, or Wanyik. It's still funny. It's kind of like Wank, but either way. This was my first Slipknot album that I was actually, there for the singles and the sort of like hype, kind of the marketing push leading up to it. This is my first one for that, and I love this album. Unsainted is a fucking tune. Nero 40 is mwah. Orphans, just heavy. Not Long for This World is my favourite, actually, because of the oh, so good. And then obviously Solway Firth and Liar's Funeral is great. Oh, really great album. Okay, next up we have Parkway Drive's Deep Blue. This is a vinyl that I picked up quite late in my collecting life. This was the first Parkway Drive album I heard, and I loved it. Again, this was one of the things that got me slowly into it. I didn't hear this in the kitchen, but I did hear about the band. Listen to it, like Samsara, Sleepwaker, Wreckage, Deadweight, Karma, Leviathan Eye. Great album. yeah, I was very happy when I actually did manage to get a copy of this, because it's a great album. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Not really listened to much of the other stuff, but like I said, I'm weird when it comes to my opinions. Again, now this is another album that, well, actually, this is one of the very few that I don't like, that I have, and that's Morbid Angel's Kingdoms Disdained. Now, I didn't really get into Morbid Angel. The only Morbid Angel album I like is the one that no one likes, which is Elude Divinum Insanus. This was a blind buy, and I regretted it because the production on it is not great. The vinyl itself is cool, like the actual art and shit is awesome, but the songs themselves are just a bit crap. But yeah, this is like, it was a blind buy, and then when I started working at another job, there was a person there who liked metal, but they liked their old school metal, like Carcass and that, and I wasn't really into that. But then they got me into Morbid Angels, Illud Divinum Insanus, and then Carcass, and I ended up buying this next album off them, which is Morbid Angels, Illud Divinum Insanus. This is their most hated album, apparently, apart from Kingdoms Disdained. This is their most hated album, and I love it. I think it's just brilliant. Too Extreme is brilliant. Existo Vulgar, Blades for Ball, I Am Morbid is so good. Destructors vs. Earth is ridiculous. Nevermore is great. Radical is my favourite. You have the red vinyls there. No, I love this album so much. And Eric, if you see this, thank you for help. Thank you for making that particular workplace bearable. And thank you for letting me buy this off you and introducing me to some great fucking metal. I hope you're doing well. Another album that Eric showed me, Carcass's Heartwork. This album is fucking amazing. This is such a good record. Just nasty through and through, but just brilliant. This is the repress, I believe, but no, this album is so good, and I really like their new one, Torn Arteries, and their EP. Oh, what's the one it's called? It's the one that's got Living Dead at Manchester Morgue and Long and Winding Bayou Road. I'll edit this in. I'll edit in a caption that says it. But absolutely fucking phenomenal album. So good. Definitely lives up to one of the best metal albums ever made. Next up is a very obscure band. I had to import this vinyl from America. I really, really like this album. I don't know if they're going to do anything else. I hope they will, but it's been 4 years, but, you know, fingers crossed. And that is Terror Universal with their debut, Make Them Bleed. Once again, this is another album that I love all the songs on. I had it imported from America. And the vinyl is nice and lovely like that. A lot of great tunes on here. Songs like... sorry, I need to get my lighting fixed. Songs like, because I'm filming this quite late in the day. Songs like Passage of Pain, Welcome to Hell, Spines, Dig You a Hole, Piece by Piece, Into Darkness. Absolutely banging stuff. Great album. Hope they do more. Yes. The one album I have of this prolific metal band, System of a Down's Toxicity. I like most of the songs on this. I've never really been into their other albums. They've never really been a band for me apart from this album. Not much to say. I mean, their reputation precedes them. If you know, you know. Like, they're huge. So, okay. Next up, we have... we're getting into some of the more recent stuff that I picked up by recently, like a year ago. Next up, we have Slaughter to Prevail's Misery Sermon. This is an album that it took me a while to get into because a lot of it is in Russian, but the thing that I have come to learn is that for me, vocals in a lot of heavier stuff to me is kind of secondary. If there's good instrumentation behind it, then it's fine. And that's why I got this vinyl, because it was one of those ones where I was like, oh, the instrumentation is brilliant on this, so I don't really mind that. I can't really tell what's going on. This vinyl, by the way, is fucking gorgeous. But yeah, some great songs on here, like obviously Misery Sermon, Russian Hate, Chronic Slaughter, Born to Die, just brilliant, 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 brilliant. Come on. Fucking sorry about that. That's the what's it called? That is the digital code that I don't ever use. So if you do see it, then go for it. But I'm not going to go out my way to show you it. But yeah, that's Slaughter Prevails, Misery Sermon. This is another album that took me a while to get into, but I love every song on this album now. That is Knocked Loose's A Different Shade of Blue. This is just a relentlessly punishing album, and the vinyl is gorgeous. Like, look at that blue. That is just lovely shit. But yeah, this has so many bangers on it. Like, to me, it just feels like one continuous breakdown. It's so good. Belleville, Serpent's Touch, By the Grave, In the Walls, Mistakes Like... Check this album out. It's brilliant. Okay, I'm sorry if you can hear stuff in the background. I can't help it. But yeah, next up is a band that I love their first two albums. I don't really like any of their new stuff. This stuff is okay, but it's King 810 and their album Suicide King. I'd much rather have their first two albums over their over this. This is just a lot more rappy and not like the heavy, to be honest, depressing music they put out, which I mean, it's heavy and it's awesome and it's edgy, but I like it. But yeah, this was disappointing, and then everything has since, it's just, there's one or two songs like Hellhounds, but apart from that, not really bothered about it. Next up is Cannibal Corpse's, hang on a minute, Cannibal Corpse's Violence Unimagined. This is the censored cover, because I know the other one was heavily censored in a lot of countries, because, well, I mean, I'm not really surprised. This is the only Cannibal Corpse album that I love all the songs on. Nice little fucking puke cut. I believe it's Swamp Green is what it's called. But great album. Love every song on it. Just absolutely brutal shit. Yeah, great little album. Great little album. Great album. Check this out if you haven't. It's very good. Next up, another album by one of my favourite bands, Cane Hill. This album as well is quite rare. I like most of the songs on here. Just one or two that I don't, and that's Strange Candy and Cream Pie. The rest, like Ugly Model Mannequins, Screw Tape, You're So Wonderful, Fountain of Youth, New Jesus, brilliant songs. I believe this one is a coloured vinyl as well, isn't it? Yes, it is. Lovely little coloured vinyl. Love this band. Like I said, these are the only two of their releases I have on vinyl. Because I don't believe they've put out the rest of them, although I'd love Kill the Sun on vinyl. Wish I could get that, but it's out of print. The only thing is I saw it like just for £15, like I remember back when, and now that I love it, I'm like, can't get it. Looking forward to the new stuff though. Next up, we have Bring Me the Horizons Post-Human Survival Horror. This is a album EP, I don't know what you'd call it. It's an album that I love every song on this album. It is brilliant. I don't really like what they're doing now. This is their only album that I have, and the only one that I've listened to all the way through. Obviously you got absolute bangers like Dear Diary, Teardrops, Kingslayer, Ludens, One by One, Obey. Brilliant fucking album. Yeah, love this album. Next we have Thornhill's Dark Pool. I listened to the first song on this, liked it. Listened to the rest, don't like it. Yeah, it's just not for me. I believe it's got a coloured vinyl. Yeah, like a. I don't really know what kind of green that is. Like a kale green. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, not much to say in that. Not really a big fan. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, next up, we have another album that I love all of the songs on. Really like this album and the album before this, and that's Bury Tomorrow's Cannibal. Dark Infinite is a fucking tune. Love this band. Very excited for their new stuff. Yeah. Ah, yes, one of my first vinyls that I didn't actually like until like a year or two ago, and that is Within Destruction's Death Wish. This is, I believe it's Slam, but this shit is just disgusting. I love this album so much. It is so good. The artwork is gorgeous as well. This is the only album of theirs that I like, apart from Void I'm slowly getting into, but I do also like their, I can't remember what it's called. Not their most recent, which is okay, but they're the one before that. But this is my favourite that I've heard so far. Love this album. Ah yes, my favourite EP of the last couple of years. Lorna Shores and I Return to Nothingness. This is when they introduced William Ramos. This is a bloody masterpiece of an EP. I love this EP to bits. I think it is just perfection, like back to front. And their new stuff, I've not fully listened to their new album yet, but this album is, love this album to bits. It is brilliant. Into the Hellfire is just filthy. Check it out. This is their album before the And I Return to Nothingness EP. This is Immortal. This is when they had CJ McCreery for one album, and I know his whole thing, and anyway, this album, I love this album. I think the instrumentation on this is beautiful. The vocals are great as well, but yeah, I love this album. It's so bloody good. And then another one of my favourite records recently is Slaughter Prevail's Costalum. I was bloody hoping that they would release like Agony and Demolisher on vinyl, and lo and behold, they ended up announcing an album that slaps so hard. My ancestors felt it. Like songs like Bone Breaker and Demolisher, Baba Yaga, Agony, Zavale Batlo, Bratva, Killed a Man. Oh, absolutely fucking ruthless, brutal album. Love this shit. Okay, next up, we're getting close to the end now. One more batch after this, I think. So, and if you're wondering why the camera's squint and slanted, it's because it's on my bed. I've told you this before. Anyway, next up we have Carnifex's World War X. Carnifex was a band that I didn't get into until this. Like I said, I've only been into metal since 2017. So not that long, but this shit slaps. Like songs like All Roads Lead to Hell slaps hard. Eyes of the Executioner is great as well. Great band, great album. Next up, the only Thy Art Is Murder album I can get that won't cost me an arm and a leg, and that is what's it called? Human Target. Love this deathcore shit. Deathcore was like after metalcore, deathcore was my next, and this album slaps hard. My favourite of theirs is probably Holy War, but I can't get that on vinyl because it's out of print and it costs an arm and a leg if you actually want that on vinyl. So, if you have, by the way, if you're still this far in and you have any suggestions for bands or albums from what you've seen here from me, then let me know. If you have any questions, just let me know and I'll respond to all the comments. So yeah, songs on here like Human Target, Death Squad Anthem, Welcome Oblivion, Chemical Christ, just brilliant, brilliant shit. Love this album. Next up is a band that this album I think is a masterpiece, and that is Cattle Decapitation's Death Atlas. This stuff is so intense, so fast. So many absolutely ripping tunes on this one. I'm never going to say that again. That it's the one album by them that I like. I like all their albums, kind of. Everything after Homivore. But this shit is so good. Like the Geoside, Be Still Our Bleeding Hearts, Bring Back the Play, The Great Dying. Just this album fucking slaps. Ah yes, here we have sounds of a bear growling. The album, and that is To the Grave. This shit is so heavy that it is kind of ridiculous. But I adore it. This shit, if you've not heard To the Grave, I mean, if you like deathcore, you'll probably like it. But this shit is so heavy that it's actually kind of ridiculous. Like you have songs like give me a minute to put this away, and I'll have a look. You have songs like fucking Holocaust Australia, Global Warning, Ecocide, Pest Control, Hellhole, Slaughter Forever, Gristleblower, Wastage, just Miserable Summer. This shit is disgusting, and it's fucking awesome. Check this shit out if you can. It is so good. Yes, another album that the one thing I like about the EPs is that it's bits and pieces of the bigger picture in this whole album, and that is Distance, Aeons of Oblivion. This album slaps. This album is just heavy as fuck. This has the same color scheme as To the Grave, so I'm not going to take it out, but this shit slaps hard. Like, this shit is heavy, like stuff like Hellmouth, Temple of Talgaroth, Cryogenesis, Dusk of Anguish. Like, this shit's good. Now we have another slammy band, and that is Ingested's Where Only Gods May Tread. This album, again, slaps tits. Like Follow the Deceiver, No Half Measures, Impending Dominance, The List. Like, this shit is heavy as all fuck. You also got the Goblin vocals as well, obviously. All good metal albums have Goblin vocals. But no, this one slaps, as do they all. But again, another red vinyl. Brilliant shit. Another album another album. This is an album of a band from me home country, Scotland. That is Bleed From Within's Fractures. Again, this album slaps tits. The whole thing is just, I love all the songs in here, like The End of All We Know, Pathfinder, Into Nothing, For All to See, Utopia, A Depth That No One Dares. Like, this album slaps tits. And their new one, Shrine, is just as good. Love this shit so much. Okay, we're back. This is the last stack. If you hear dogs barking or anything, I apologise, but this is the last stack. So I've been taking these out in piles and putting them back in, so and I'll just cut this together. But this is Avenged Sevenfold's Black Rain EP. I believe this is the Black Ops 4 soundtrack. Now, that's another thing. Zombies had a lot of metal songs in their Easter eggs, like 115 and Abracadabra, like, and that's how I think there's bits and pieces that have built me up to that now, and I got this because of Black Ops 4 and Mad Hatter, Carry On, Not Ready to Die. Some great songs in there. This isn't metal, but it is by King 810, and I love this EP. This is what is it? That Place Where Pain Lives. It says 2 songs, Bad Man and Devil Don't Cry. This shit is beautiful. I love this. Great little EP. Okay. Next up, we have Spiritbox's Eternal Blue. Spiritbox is a band that I discovered through the vocalist of Cane Hill, Elijah Witt's Twitter, I absolutely adore this band and their new EP. I can't remember what the fuck it was called, but it's absolutely brilliant. And this album is brilliant as well. I love this album. Some absolutely just disgusting shit. It's not disgusting. I don't know why I said it was disgusting. Please ignore what I just said. Some filthy vocals, but also some beautiful harmonies. Vinyl no go backy in the thing. Some great songs in here, like Sun Color, Hurt You, Yellow Jacket, The Summit, Secret Gardens, A Tune, Silk on the Strings, Holy Roller, Circle With Me, Constance. Like, this band can do it all. It is fantastic. I'm so excited to see what they do next. Now, this is an album that I wanted to get the vinyl for so long, and then their official merch store finally had it in stock. And that is Shadow of Intent's Melancholy. I fucking love this album. This album is incredible. The instrumentation and vocals on this album are absolutely beautiful. If you've not checked this out before, please do, because it's just gorgeous across the board. I have listened to this thing numerous times. The vinyl's like, oh, just lovely. And I'm so happy I was able to get it on vinyl because it's out of print and it usually goes for stupid money. But as I said, I think their official merch store had a restock, and I caught it just in time because by the time I'd ordered mine, it had actually gone out of stock again. So very, very lucky to have actually gotten that on vinyl, because I just adore this album so much. Next up is not next up. Let me put this back in its case because this shit's rare and I don't want to damage it. Sorry. Next up, we have their Halo-inspired album, I believe. That's Primordial. No, was it? Yeah, Primordial. This is the album that I picked up because it was the only one I could get of theirs. And then, like, I believe this is like glow-in-the-dark ghost bottle green grey thing. This is an album that I've not listened to as much, but it's still cool to have it. Again, I ordered this straight from their official merch store, and I love this album. No, I don't love this album. What I'm saying, I haven't listened to this as much as I want to, but it's just more Shadow of Intent, and it's brilliant. Their new album I've listened to a little bit, but I still just love Melancholy so much. Ah, yes. Next up, we have an absolutely filthy album with Bone Carver's Evil. If you like slam and death type stuff, check out Evil by Bone Carver. This shit is filthy. There's some nasty breakdowns. Like some of the songs on this, like, oh, that's the gatefold. I believe they got a new album coming out this month called Carnage Funeral, I think. That's the thing. This song is just this album is just relentlessly brutal. Obviously formerly known as Cannibal Grandpa, but I didn't discover them till Evil. But like Revolver and Overtorture, The Scythe, Wormhole, Moon Maniac, Hybrid, The Blacksmith Massacre. Check this out if you like slam, and just heavy as fuck shit. It's so good. Next up is an album I paid a lot of money for and is out of print, I believe. And that is Suicide Silence's The Black Crown. I bought this from Australia last September for an undisclosed amount. It was like £80, and I've not listened to it. That's a regret of mine. It's still actually in its sealed packaging thing. I'm not going to take it out because it is very expensive. I believe it's a gatefold, but I'm just not going to open it up to see because, like I said, that shit's expensive and I don't want to touch it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But yeah, because it says here, Resist Records, $54 from Australia, but yeah. This shit is brutal. This is my favourite Suicide Silence album, noting why I paid so much for it. So, next one is one that I actually found on Amazon for £15 brand new. Was very shocked when I did see it, and I don't even like this album that much. And that's Suicide Silence's The Cleansing. I find this one to be a bit too, I don't know how to describe it. The production's a bit muddy for me. I get it was like one of the fathers of deathcore, but to me, the production's a bit too muddy for my taste. But the fact that I have it is pretty cool. So next up is another Slammy Whammy Whammy album, as far as I know, that I've not opened yet. But that's Mental Cruelty's Infernus. This is another band that I've listened to a couple of their songs, and I liked what I've heard from this. I like most of this album, but I haven't opened this vinyl yet. That's the thing, like with metal, the album art's just always just absolute like slaps. So I need to listen to that more. And finally, we have Signs of the Swarm, Vital Deprivation. This is an album that I have not listened to much. I like a couple of the songs, but I really want to get their new one, Absolvra, I think it's called. Nice purple vinyl. I really want to get that one on vinyl because I've listened to that quite a lot, and there's some bloody filthy tunes on that one. But yeah, I would like to get their what's it called? Their first album. I can't remember what it's called. Nightcrawlers or something. I can't remember what it's called. But either way, I would like to get that on vinyl, but I can't because I don't think it exists. But yeah, that's my complete metal / heavy rock vinyl collection. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I believe that my What I Watched in October will be going up a couple of days after this one, or vice versa, it just depends. But if you enjoyed, leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe even subscribe if you like this. But it's heavily appreciated. And if you have any suggestions for music or video ideas or anything or stuff like that, and I'll answer all comments. So yeah, I hope you all have a good day, and cheers.